Good morning. I'm the Reverend Denise Gouch. My pronouns are she, her, and as your assistant minister, it is my pleasure to welcome you to worship with the First Unitarian Universalist Church of Nashville. As Unitarian Universalists, our spiritual paths vary, but in this congregation, we have made a covenant together. We affirm our interdependence, celebrate our differences, and work for justice. We are a welcoming congregation, and we deepen our relationships as we serve our congregation's mission to create community, nurture spiritual growth, and act on our values in the broader world, guided by reason and compassion. Our story and sermon today are offered by Chelsea Henry. Chelsea is one of our worship associates. She is active with Chalice Fire, the chapter of CUPS, the Covenant of Unitarian Universalist Pagans here in this congregation, and she is also a member of our congregation's board of directors. I'd like to extend a special welcome to visitors worshiping with us this morning. If you are seeking a spiritual home, we hope that you may find it here. If you have questions about our congregation, please do contact me. You can find my email address in the staff directory under Contact Us on our website, and I look forward to hearing from you. If you are joining us for the live broadcast of this service on Webinar Jam, won't you please say hello in the chat? We love knowing you're here. No matter what platform you're using, you can find helpful resources such as the order of service, ways to give, and access to the social hour following the service in the worship portal on our website, firstuunash.org. We are so glad you've joined us for worship.
Good morning. My name is Jay Tiefenbrunn. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm delighted to serve as your Director of Music Ministries. Our opening song today comes to us from the music team at Kitsap UU Fellowship in Silverdale, Washington. The words and music are by Amanda Udis Kessler and feature Brian Kenny on piano, Elena Hemingway on vocals and percussion, and their choir director Mike Menifee on flugelhorn. We're grateful for the collaboration of our many member congregations in sharing resources while we worship online. The song is Mother Earth, Beloved Garden, and we begin our celebration of the Winter Solstice by invoking the directions in song.
Mother Earth, beloved garden, living treasure underfoot. All our days you ground our being, sage and thistle, grass and root, herbs to heal us, plants to feed us, land to till and tend and plow. With a pendant deep as midnight north, we ask you be here now. Father air, your inspiration holds together all that lives. As we breathe, our minds see clearly, leading us to love and give. Raging whirlwind, whispered breezes, violent gale and gentle cloud. With a blade as sharp as morning east, we ask you be here now. Brother fire, great transformer, share the passion of the sun. In our hearts your warmth revives us, cooks our food and heats our homes. Flaming candle, blood within us, blazing desert, will to grow. With the wand directing power south, we ask you be here now. Sister water ever flowing, ocean, river, pond and rain, drink we now and quench our thirsting, cleanse us, we begin again. Mist and ice, a host of changes, all that courage will allow. With the cup, the holy chalice west, we ask you be here now. Be here now.
Good morning. I'm the Reverend Diane Daugert, Developmental Lead Minister here at the First Unitarian Universalist Church of Nashville. My pronouns are she, her. The words for our call to worship this morning were written by Christian de la Huerta. We must shine. We must shine now. This is the goal toward which we stretch, step by step, in our own time, at our own pace. As our beauty unfolds and our hearts open, we become gentler and more compassionate, yet brighter, more empowered, and fearless. We have been holding on, holding back. Enough of that. It is time to let go. We are needed now, all of us. The words for our chalice lighting were written by Sharon Wiley. At the time of the solstice, in honor of ancient traditions that celebrate this time of longest night, we observe that the flaming chalice holds the elements of the four directions: earth, fire, water, air. The lamp oil for earth, the air that feeds the flame, the fire we light. And the chalice itself, the cup, the symbol of water. We light our chalice and reflect on the light we need to guide us through hard times. The light of our shared faith, the light of loving community, the light of love, hope, and joy.
Today I'm going to tell the story of Amaterasu, the Japanese goddess of the sun. And she was very beautiful. And one day she got into a terrible, terrible fight with her brother. Like, just horrible. And they did terrible things to each other, but he did extra super terrible things. And somebody that she loved got hurt. And oh, it just broke her heart. She had such a broken heart. And so she went and she hid in a cave and closed it up behind her. And so the sun was no longer in the world. And the whole world got dark and cold. And they missed the sun. They missed Amaterasu so much. They really wanted her to come back out of the cave. And she said, no, not gonna do it. You can't make me. I'm gonna stay right here. And so all the other gods and goddesses and demigods and demigoddesses and all of their people all got together. And they're standing around outside the cave where Amaterasu has closed it up. And they're going, how do we get her to come out? We need the sun back. Oh, we need the sun so bad. We miss her. She needs to come back. How do we get her to come back? And somebody says, well, she's very beautiful and she loves being beautiful. Let's get a big mirror and put it out here so that if we can get her to just peek out of the cave, then she'll see her reflection and she'll be reminded how beautiful she is and she'll want to come back out and stay with us. Okay, so they go and they get a big mirror and they position it right outside the cave. So if she happens to just peek a little bit, she will see herself and maybe she'll come out of the cave. And then they go, so how do we get her to peek out of the cave? And they go, oh, what do we do? What do we do? And, they've tried talking to her and they said, please, Amaterasu, come back out. We miss you. And she goes, I don't wanna. I'm not gonna do it. You can't make me. I'm gonna stay right here. My heart is broken. I'm gonna stay in my dark cave. And they said, oh, but Amaterasu, we love you, and you are so important to us. She goes, I'm brokenhearted, and you can't make me come out. And the world was so dark, and the world was so cold. And so all the gods and goddesses and demigoddesses, they get back together and they go, okay, now what? Now what do we do? Well, what if we throw a party? And so they bring in feast, and they bring in lights, and they bring in dancers and musicians and all the things, and they throw this big party, and they start making lots and lots of noise. And then they go, Amaterasu, we're having a great time. You should join us. And she goes, not gonna do it. My heart is broken, and I'm going to stay in this cave. And they go, oh, but please, not gonna do it. Go, oh, what do we do? What do we do? And they're just partying harder and harder and louder and louder. And now they're singing, and they got bells and noisemakers. Please, Amaterasu, come back out. And she will not do it. So then someone sidles up to the cave and starts telling her jokes. Just a little joke. Maybe not too important. Maybe it was something like my favorite joke, which goes, 2 muffins are in an oven. One muffin turns to the other muffin and goes, is it hot in here to you? And the other muffin goes, oh my gosh, a talking muffin! That's my favorite joke today. So they tell her a joke. And they try her on another joke. Maybe something like 2 fish are in a tank. One looks at the other and says, you man the guns, I'll drive. That's my other favorite joke. And finally, one of the jokes is so absurd and so silly that all of a sudden Amaterasu goes, and she starts laughing just a little bit. And that grief, that dark, cold grief on her heart lifts just a little, because of the joy of a silly, silly joke. And as the grief lifts just a little bit off her heart, she starts to get curious about what's going on out there. It really does sound like they're having fun. And she sits there and she thinks. And she goes, well, it wouldn't hurt to maybe just go look. Maybe I could just peek out. And she goes and she moves the rock just a little bit. And then she sees herself in that mirror that they so cleverly put there. And she goes, oh! And she's reminded of the beauty in the world. And so Amaterasu comes back out of her cave and joins the party, and everyone is so glad to see her. Yay! The sun is back. Amaterasu has come back. And they are so glad, and she is so glad. And they have a wonderful, wonderful party with all of the feasting and all of the lights and all of the dancing and the singing and the music.
Beloveds, we know that there are so many, too many ways to be brokenhearted. But we also know how gathered community sustains us, how in each other's company the dark can become a place of possibility and hope. With gratitude for the ever-turning wheel of the seasons and the comfort of community, let us together sink into this winter solstice reflection written by Mandy McGlynn. Waiting for now. Everything is about to change, and it already has. It will be, it was, it is. The dawn you eagerly await to end the long, cold darkness is already full sun far off in the east. Yet even after lights return, spring is months away. 30 long years pass after his birth before the Messiah comes. Stones of justice have been tossed in the lake, but their ripples have not yet arrived, have not resolved into the kingdom already present among us. While we wait, let us seek in the darkness of the now and not yet for the treasures hidden there, for the riches of the secret places only found by night. This is what is promised us. The wheel of life turns ever on, and darkness is a path to joy. Amen. Blessed be. May it be so. You may know that we share every Sunday's collection with an organization whose work outside our walls aligns with our values. Our Share the Plate partner for the month of December is Bookup, an organization envisioning a future in Nashville where all children own books and know firsthand the joy and value of reading. You can learn more about their work in the online worship portal on our website, firstuunash.org, where you can also find a link to our online donation form. In this season of virtual offering bowls, we are especially grateful for the steady generosity which allows us, both within and beyond the congregation, to continue creating community, nurturing spiritual growth, and acting on our values. Today, we have the gift of a stewardship moment offered by Alex Brooks.
Good morning. My name is Alex Brooks. My pronouns are he, him, and I'm a proud member of this congregation. I joined officially just under 3 years ago, but I've been coming to this church off and on since November of 2003. I had just graduated college and was looking for a church that fit my evolving spiritual beliefs. This church most certainly did, and I felt welcome from the first service I attended. I joined the young adults group, which led to many wonderful lunches at La Hacienda, but more importantly led to some lifelong friends. But I didn't join then. I went to plenty of services. I became active in the church's Cups chapter, which is now called Chalice Fire, and have since attended countless full moon gatherings. I've been here for pagan pride events, wedding receptions, holiday parties, and concerts. But all that time, I did not know what was going on in the greater church. But things change. I got married to a wonderful person named Donna. We started a family. I wanted my kids to have a home here too, and I wanted to become more involved in this church that had given me so much. So I joined, and the floodgates opened. I thought I knew so much about this place, but I'd only scratched the surface. There's so much that goes on here, and so many people working together to make it happen. And slowly I am finding, or stumbling into, ways to do my part. The changes we have had to make during the pandemic have made some things harder, but some things oddly easier in that regard. As for now, I love watching my 4-year-old Eleanor in her RE class, learning about the Church of Unitarian Universalism, the Church of the Open Mind, the Loving Heart, and the Helping Hands. And I'm proud to be on that journey with all of you. Thank you.
Today's reading, titled Winter Solstice, was written by Rebecca Parker. Perhaps, for a moment, the typewriters will stop clicking, the wheels stop rolling, the computers desist from computing, and a hush will fall over the city. For an instant, in the stillness, the chiming of the celestial spheres will be heard as Earth hangs poised in the crystalline darkness, and then gracefully tilts. Let there be a season when holiness is heard and the splendor of living is revealed. Stunned to stillness by beauty, we remember who we are and why we are here. There are inexplicable mysteries. We are not alone. In the universe, there moves a wild one whose gestures alter Earth's axis toward love. In the immense darkness, everything spins with joy. The cosmos enfolds us. We are caught in a web of stars, cradled in a swaying embrace, rocked by the holy night, babes of the universe. Let this be the time. Let this be the time we wake to life, like spring wakes, the moment of winter solstice. Here ends the reading.
Chimney smoke is on the air. Lights are twinkling everywhere. But home is far away this year, and spirits less than bright. The dark of winter presses in, with frosty air against my skin. I'm longing for the sun again on this longest night. The warmth may seem distant and the light may seem thin, but the fire hasn't left us, it's still burning deep within. Through telephone lines, across space and time, we'll be together again, and we'll share each other's light till the sun returns again. The Yule log crackles in the hearth and fills the house with light and warmth. But I'd rather have my father's arms than any cheery fire. But though my heart is far away and night has come too soon today, my hope remains a steady flame. My heart sings like a choir. Seem distant and the light may seem thin, but the fire hasn't left us, it's still burning deep within. Through telephone lines, across space and time, we'll be together again, and we'll share each other's light till the sun returns again. We'll share each other's light till the sun returns again.
So I'm doing magic right now because I'm recording this at night and it will be broadcast in the morning light. But it's appropriate to record this at night because this is winter solstice. This is longest night of the year. And so it makes sense to speak about it. Since we get to do magic because we have the technology, it makes sense to speak about it at night and in the dark. And what I really wish that I could say, what I want to be able to say is blessed solstice, merry Yule, yay! But I can't because I'm not feeling it. This year, I'm not feeling the merriment. Instead, I'm feeling the dark and the cold and the loneliness and the grief, and they weigh heavy on my heart. And normally, this time of year, the cold and the dark are kind of over here at arm's length, kind of in the background, and I'm busy with the party, right? You know, the party that we all throw to help convince the sun goddess to come back out of her cave. That's what I'm doing this time of year. And so the cold and the dark are over here, and I'm busy. I'm partying with all the gods and the goddesses and the demigods and the demigoddesses and all their people, and we're having a feast, and we got the lights. Because this is our ancestral wisdom. Traditions all over the world for thousands of years have celebrated some kind of festival of lights right when we get to this last slide down into winter solstice, when it gets darker and colder and darker and colder. And our human wisdom, our ancestors said, hey, this is not very good for our mental and emotional health. What makes it better? Celebrating the light makes it better. And so that is our cultural inheritance, is to have the festival, to throw the party, to tempt the sun goddess back out. And it's what helps keep the cold and the dark and the loneliness more in the background. But for me, this year, that cold and that dark is right here. It's right in my face. It's in the foreground, and I am feeling it. And it is hard. Just the other day, I had to make another sacrifice. And one more time, again, I had to say, here was something that was important to me, that I valued, and I had to say, no. We're under pandemic protocols. It is not COVID safe. No, I can't do it. And normally when I do that, I go to my people. I go to my party. I go to the drum circle and I dance it out around the chalice fire to the drums, or I complain about it with my people at coffee hour in the social hall. I go to my people. But right now, I can't join the party. Where's the party? There is no party. And that is so frustrating and so distressing. But what I did do is I was able to call some of my people, or I texted some of my people, and I told them, these friends, my social circle, my support people, I told them, I said, ouch, I had to do the thing. And they replied back and they said, ouch, I'm sorry you had to do the thing. And then they talked to me. And they did what they could to make me feel better. And they told me jokes. They told me things that would make me laugh. And the kinds of things I didn't know I was going to laugh. I'm in the middle of ouch. But I did laugh. And it was one of those all the way down from my belly. And I didn't know it was coming. And I didn't know my funny bone had been tickled. And then all of a sudden I go, ha! Ha! And I laughed. Deep in my belly, I laughed. And that kind of laughter, that is what cracks the cave open. Lets a little fresh air in. Our friends and our people, our support system, our community, taking care of each other. It's not the big party. Instead of the party outside the cave, it's just this big old jumbotron and you see all the people in Brady Bunch view on Zoom. It's not the same. But we can sidle up to the entrance to each other's caves and we can tell a few jokes. And those jokes are like little sparks in the darkness. And if you come over to my cave, I'll come over to your cave. And I'll make a few sparks for you. It is winter solstice. It's the longest night of the year, and here we are just doing our best to spark in the dark. And the sun goddess is about to come out of her cave. And we have to remember this. It is good. It is part of the ritual of our human inheritance from our ancestors to remember that the sun comes back out, that all of this cold and dark and loneliness and grief, it changes. The sun goddess will come back out of her cave. We will tell the jokes and crack that seal. And we will remember that everything changes, even the dark and the cold.
Thank you, Chelsea, for that beautiful reflection. Our closing song is by a much-loved singer, composer, and music director who passed away in 2013. Shelley Jackson Denham was active in the UU communities in Cincinnati, Ohio, serving Heritage Universalist Unitarian Church in the late 1980s. Many of her songs appear in our hymnals, including Blessed Spirit of My Life, When I Am Frightened, and our closing song, Dark of Winter. We continue the collaborative spirit of the season with the North Lake UU Church Choir leading the singing in a new arrangement of this hymn. I hope that you will join them.
Let my thoughts go where they will.
The words to our chalice extinguishing were written by Elizabeth Sell Jones, and they can be found at the bottom of our order of service. Please join me. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
The words of the benediction were written by Maureen Killeran. As we weather the winds of change, may we have wisdom to cherish moments of stillness. As we recollect times of challenge and of pain, may we remember also the graceful blessings of our lives. As we look to future unknowns, may we have the boldness to trust that there is unimagined good yet to come. This service has ended. May our service continue renewed. Go in peace, go in love.